My God.
I'm not gonna do it.
Oh
now.
gosh, hello
Don't know
there.
if it would mess up shit. Oh,
Hello.
Oh.
Welcome
Hi.
back to Zero Strategy Podcast, episode 21.
the whole thing is scuffed.
Because all my co-hosts have decided to turn their cameras off. Oh, right. All the nameplates are in the wrong place. Because
Shit. I'm
they
blue.
jump around.
Dabba diba daba.
No way.
It's right. Okay, people in the chat are already shouting at me that I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. They turned their cameras off and they switched places. It's not my
Hey, well, it
fault.
looks like it's good now. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Fixed.
Did I break it again?
For fuck's sake. Okay. Yeah, welcome back to the podcast. Oh,
There we go.
great.
Wait, no. Yep.
Oh
Fuck.
no. This is episode 21. God, what a
Try
start.
to beat him off.
We have a lot to talk about this week, guys. I am joined today by my co-hosts, Just Grog.
Hello.
We've got the Mighty Kibbles,
Hi.
and we have that guy Cod.
Hello.
So before we dive into anything, as always, we like to do a little catch up with everybody, see what we've been up to. Grog, how has your week been? What have you been doing?
Week's been pretty good. This week was kind of a return to my normal streaming schedule. It went really well. I had a lot of great support from people in chat, and yeah, it's been fantastic. Did a co-stream with my wife yesterday, which is really fun. We're kind of committed to trying, now that things have settled down at the house, we're gonna try and commit to doing that every Saturday. So we'll be doing like kind of either indie games or like just couch co-op stuff, and I think it'll be really fun. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Nice. Yeah, I caught quite a lot of your co-stream yesterday. It was really, really fun. So definitely keep that up if you can. And it's good to see you back to sort of normal streaming schedule again.
Yeah.
Awesome. Kibbles, what have you been up to? If you say
don't
Warzone, I
remember.
swear.
Warzone. And I
Soma.
played something else. I just don't. Soma, yeah.
You
Underwater horror game.
You murdered a human robot
I did.
on accident.
Walked into a room and there's just this robot on the ground breathing heavily, and I was like, oh, and I didn't even think about it and just started unplugging things and I killed it. Apparently I was supposed to, but
But you didn't
oops.
know that. It was just your
You-
first instinct.
You
No,
killed
my
it in a
sister,
very
like-
tragic and sad way as it's like gasping for help. And then there was another one where it was like lying on the floor and it's like, hey, it's Carl, like, help me. And then you just went over to a panel on the wall, not knowing what it was, flipped on the switch, and then it's just like, oh God, oh fuck, oh, the pain, the pain.
I actually played that game as well.
Damn.
It's
Now
really
I'm
cool.
Just as confused.
It's just it hurts my soul, and chat thinks I'm a monster.
Well,
Yeah,
they're not too
it's definitely
wrong.
meant to fuck with you.
Soma, is Soma the same people that made Amnesia?
I don't know. It reminds me of another game, but I can't remember what the game is anymore. So like,
The quality seems a lot higher than Amnesia. Like
Hey,
the,
for some
yeah, for
reason,
sure.
in my head, I'm thinking it's the same studio, but maybe I'm wrong on that.
Head.
But
Conde.
Conde. I'm
awesome.
gonna look it up while we catch up with that guy Cod over there.
Yeah, God, what have you been up to?
I mean, I'm basically just been playing Destiny, a bit of Terraria, my brother, getting back into that. Other than that, not much. Honestly, just doing my thing, you know, playing games, editing videos. That's it, basically.
Good stuff.
Gotta be.
Awesome. Well, I have been kind of the same. Bit of Destiny, a bit of Warzone, a bit of Valorant, and I've been still trudging my way through The Last of Us. Last of Us Part 2, I'm really enjoying it so far. I won't spoil for anyone, even though like the game's been out for months and I'm really far behind. I'm really enjoying it. That game is difficult though. It forces you to be stealthy, and I'm not a stealthy person. I'm not built for stealth. So chat gets very frustrated at me They keep shouting at me to check my corners before I just walk out and get spotted. The one thing I don't like though is that they have this mechanic in the game where they have like dogs. The bad guys have dogs that can sniff you. So they follow you when you're like trying to do stealth. And if the dogs attack you, you have to fight them. It's horrible. I hate it. I hate that. So that's my only complaint so far, is that I don't want to have to fight the dogs. It's not their fault. They're just being dogs. But yeah, fucking fun game nonetheless. I'm enjoying it so far.
Soma was made by the people that made Amnesia.
Oh, it
nice.
is.
Original games. Yeah, I didn't know that.
There you go.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
why
a
I remembered
huge
that.
step up in quality.
Yeah.
Amnesia's
like,
old,
'cause it-
right? Like that's an old game.
Amnesia's pretty
It was
old.
2010 and 2013.
Yeah, but I think he was even based on like an older system, like a
Penumbra.
Penumbra. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. I think they used the
Apparently they
same.
made 3 of those.
Yeah, I played some of those in the early days of Steam. They were super scary, but I think they used the same like game system, same engine to generate that as they did Amnesia. But then like Soma is like a huge step up in terms of quality. It's very cool.
The
Yeah.
story's real neat.
There's like a horror game. I don't know how it's called. Again, it's just you in a staircase and you just walk down and it's just dark. The whole time, the game is basically you just walk down the staircase and at some point there's a jump scare.
Walking
I have
simulator,
played it.
except it gives you anxiety.
And I
Wait, so
played it
it's
as a
basically
kid.
anytime I walk downstairs at night to get a glass of water.
No,
You
it's
know what
it's
it
when
is?
you walk
Wait,
back
the jump
upstairs.
scares do get you?
When
Yeah,
you
yeah,
when
you
you
turn
get
off
your
the
glass of
light
water
and
and
you
you have
run
to
up.
turn off the light and run up the stairs before the gets
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
That's what it is.
Bro, and then when then when you're in your bed, it's like next time, man. Fuck. Not this time. It can't get you in bed, obviously.
Do you remember Kibbles and COD, the game we played, Pacify, that horror game that we played
Yeah.
together?
Yeah.
Apparently they have a new level now.
Damn.
We should do that on this channel. We should play
Yeah.
Zero Strategy plays Pacify. That'd be fun. Right, cool. Yes, so getting into the topics. First of all, if you are watching in the live stream and you have a question or a topic for us, please feel free to ask away. Just make sure to @ one of us or @ the podcast in chat so it highlights and we can see it. If you are listening on any of the various podcast platforms or on YouTube, come hang out in the stream. It's a lot of fun, and we try to take questions from the chat as much as we can. So we have a few topics, sort of quick ones, and then our main topic today. The first topic is the changes made to Metacritic, which is hard to say in a Scottish accent. Metacritic. There you go. Which is they're implementing a waiting period on user reviews for games. I believe it's 36 hours, if I'm not wrong, after a game launches now. So anyone want to give us a little background on that?
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Go ahead.
I'm just kidding. You go ahead. I don't know what.
Yeah, so now there is a thing that pops up on Metacritic in like if you have like on the left hand side of the page you have like the thumbnail for the game itself, then the score, and then a summary. On the right hand side of the page above like the developer information, it'll say please spend some time playing the game, come back to review it starting at, and then it provides a date. And they, yeah, I mean, Last of Us 2, I think, was what really prompted them doing that. But then it also, they've paused Ghost of Tsushima reviews as well, because I think it's fair. They just want people to actually play the game before they just start reacting to it based on either social pressure or like hype. I mean, it can go either way, because you figure review bombs can be both good and bad. Sometimes you have a legion of fans who are going to review bomb a game and just say it's amazing because they've been watching trailers and other promotional material to build up the hype.
Yeah.
And they'll just blindly review it with a positive review day one because they just wanted to see it succeed. And then it cuts the other way where you got people who, took issues with some aspects of Last of Us 2 because they're, people are closed-minded or whatever, and they just they want to be really shitty and negative, and so they just like slam a product that they don't even play, don't even engage with. It's not that dissimilar from like people who every time a new season comes out, you've got somebody who pops up in the Destiny community just says, "Oh, dead game," and it's like, when was the last time you played? And it's like, I don't know, uh, Rise of Iron.
Yeah.
They haven't played in like 3 years, but they just say that the game is dead and it's shit, and
Well,
it's like,
because
well,
negativity drives clicks,
yeah,
Absolutely. I think the other part, because I think it was kind of twofold. There was a lot of people hating on Last of Us because, yeah, they're, like you said, with very, putting it mildly, very close-minded people, right? But there was also, I think, a lot of people are very upset about the leaks that came out for the game, because a lot of it leaked ahead of time. And again, that's not Naughty Dog's fault. It's not, people shouldn't be too upset about that. But I think that was also kind of maybe another reason as well that people were really upset about it. Because I did see some people online saying, well, I'm not going to buy this game now because I know this happens and this happens, this happens, whatever, right? So it's really disappointing to see, but I think a good move on Metacritic's part to try and limit that. I'm curious, do any of you guys actually give any sort of credence to reviews at all? I mean, when was the last time you looked up a review before buying a game?
nope.
Never.
No, me neither.
On Steam, I'll check and go like, if it has like overwhelmingly negative, I'll look like, why? And it's like, oh, recent ones. And it's like, oh, they don't update this. Like, okay, fuck off.
Yeah.
what did it look like before? Okay, cool.
Sure.
I'll just look as long as it's in the positive, and there's not some stupid reason as to why it's in the negative. That's the only way I use it. I
Yeah,
don't read in depth into them.
I'm almost always Metacritic. I will use sometimes for older titles if I'm less acquainted with it. And by older, I mean something that came out like a year or two ago, and maybe there's like a Steam sale, and I'm just kind of like, oh, that game looks interesting. Like, I wonder what the aggregate reaction was. Like, what were the critics and the fans saying at the time? And usually after like a year or two, things have kind of settled down to the point where like it's probably reasonable in terms of the score that it's being given. But for new stuff, I tend to just go to like reviewers that like on websites that I trust, or if there's a website that I enjoy, I'll just go and read a review from a reviewer. Like, so it'll be a single take, but then I'll read a couple of those. So I might go to Polygon, and I might go to like Rock Paper Shotgun, or I might go to like a couple different ones and then just read their reaction to it. And yeah, you're getting one person's perspective, but since they're a games journalist, you'd hope that they're trying to be unbiased and ideally trying to cover all of the aspects of the game and not just like a hot take.
Yeah.
And that's often how I kind of just base my initial reaction. Plus, sometimes, game companies just have a history, like CD Projekt Red. I will probably buy anything that they put out because I just have such a, on a personal level, I have a really good connection with them as a company, and I trust and support what they do. And, Bungie's the same way. Like, I feel like I've been let down before, but I ultimately feel very confident in them as a company. And that will usually help me go into the next release, with a fair idea of what to expect. And maybe I read a few professional reviews based on that.
Yeah. I more or less will just watch a review just to see gameplay and then make up my own mind a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Unless the review says, because I'm thinking like along the lines of like YouTube reviews and stuff like that, which must be so difficult to do. Like, I don't know. I play a game and I'm like, yeah, I like this game, or I don't like this game. I couldn't review games, I don't think. But yeah, I mean, unless a game is unless everyone's saying, well, this is a buggy mess, like, don't get it, maybe then I'd be interested. But a lot of the time I'll just buy a game before looking at reviews. It's the same with movies, right? Movies are so, they're such a personal thing, whether you like it, someone else maybe likes it. It's really difficult, but I don't put a lot of faith in reviews a lot of the time anyway. So just thought that'd be interesting to.
What's falling out of your shelf?
This is my whiteboard. I need to find a better way of doing it. I have it kind of sat there.
Okay.
It's just too big to fit in one of the squares. Yeah, I need to figure it out. I'm gonna attach it somewhere, but yeah.
Are you gonna start writing subs over there?
I am. I'm thinking I need to angle the camera better so that and I'll put it down lower on the ground. So I need to like.
And then you accidentally drop your pen every time you walk over. Like,
oh no!
Oh no! What am I gonna do?
That's my plan. Right, yeah. So next thing to briefly go through is a bit of an update on the Dr Disrespect situation. If you didn't see, he did an interview with PC Gamer, was it?
It was yeah, it was an interview with PC Gamer. This was a little while after like a brief response to Forbes, but really this is like the first interview where
Yeah.
there's been anything of substance. And even then, it's like to say that there's some like lots of information is it's not. It's pretty fucking vague.
It is, yeah. He makes reference in the interview himself that that there's obviously legalities involved and he has to be careful what he says. A couple of interesting things did come out though. He confirmed he still hasn't been told by Twitch why he was banned, which I just find so hard to believe because they can't fair enough if you're just a partnered streamer and you're banned and they don't give you a reason, because they have done that before. There's precedent for that. But when you're actually signed in an exclusive contract and deal with Twitch, they should. I don't see any way where they can terminate that contract without telling him why. But if they hadn't, I don't think he's lying, because it just seems like a weird thing to lie about, right? So it's very interesting there. But he did confirm that he's not going to be back to Twitch.
Yeah, and as a brief overview for anyone who hasn't read it, basically PC Gamer is conducting, it's unclear as to whether it's like phone or email, but that it's he and his publicist that are responding, because the publicist interjects at one point. But largely he reemphasizes that he doesn't know what it's about. He does go on to say that he is not like in the position to take on any new exclusivity, which it comes up a few times. And I guess like what he kind of seems to be implying by that is that he means exclusive, not so much in terms of an exclusive interview, but exclusivity in terms of signing a contract in terms of where he goes next.
Yes.
So he's kind of like hinting and poking at the idea that he's a free agent. He does specifically mention at one point that maybe he would take the Champions Club to do something on his own site. Like maybe he would continue that that sort of social club and keep it going, even if it's not through like an official platform like say Twitch or YouTube or Facebook Gaming. But again, he doesn't clarify like what that means.
Is he gonna go to Pornhub?
Damn.
What a big dick energy move that would be.
One of the things that's interesting that they do bring up is they ask him specifically about things that were happening in the last stream where he was talking about coronavirus theories and 5G networks and David Icke and like controversial topics and people, and whether or not he was doing it as a means to just kind of like bait viewers with like conspiracy theory stuff. Yes, it's like salacious content that like it just gets people talking, and whether that was like him speaking to it as an individual, was it him as his persona speaking about it, and I thought it was interesting because the interview asks, do you think that was the cause? And he says, no, I don't think so, in fact. And then he gets cut off. His publicist says, we're getting really close to dangerous territory here. So, Doc, we don't know why Twitch banned him. There's no formal warnings or reprimand on record. That's all legal is going to let him say. So it's like, it's strange that the publicist that's the only time in the article that they jump in to be like, nah, just don't worry about responding to that. And also at the same time, there's nothing that's really being said.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like weird. But they also do ask, like, they bring up the topic again. Could it be related to the current climate of people coming forward to share like stories of sexual harassment in the games industry? And he says he's not interested in speculation. He says that the speculation he's seen online, he feels is personally hurtful, and that he specifically addresses people like Rob Breslaw, who say, oh, they know what's happening, but they just can't speak about it. And in fact, he's like, people may be saying that stuff, but I mean, like, they don't really, I mean, how could they know? Like, they
Yeah.
don't really know what they're talking about.
Yeah, he also mentioned that, you know, because this is the thing for me, right, is that this is all going on. He's, you know, there is all these wild conspiracy theories, which, you know, don't paint Doc in the nicest light, right? And if this is like some contractual thing, or we don't know what it is, but like this is probably affecting his brand at this point, right? Because it's the not knowing makes it look really bad, especially like you mentioned in the current climate with everything. That's what blows my mind the most about it, because if that was me, I would be furious, right? The very fact that people are, you know, are giving these hypothetical situations, you know, I bet it's something to do with this, I bet it's something to do with this. Even the association in your head, if he hasn't done anything, is you know, effectively it's damaging his brand. It's almost sort of slanderous. It's a really tough one, and I without still obviously knowing exactly what went down, I just think it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, why does nobody know? This is insane.
Yeah, I mean, he
mind.
directly tackles that with one of his response where he says, quote, "Listen, I'm not interested in engaging crazy speculation. I've seen all the theories, I've seen all the possible conspiracies, and it's just like, I'm not interested in engaging that kind of stuff. I have a great community of loyal fans, and I'm totally focused on getting back on track and delivering great, entertaining content, and that's where the focus is." And throughout the article, so end quote, and then throughout the article, he basically just keeps re-emphasizing he wants to just make a move with the brand and wants to just keep getting back at it. And he emphasizes business, not business as usual per se, but that he's focusing on business arrangements and what that next business arrangement is. I think that if, again, he could have done anything. I mean, he could have done something morally questionable and horrible. He could have simply violated his contract. He could have just pursued business interests that were at odds with what Twitch wanted him to do and may have skirted violating some terms of his service agreement with them. It's unclear, but he doesn't seem to respond throughout the, because like I think he's interesting as an individual, as like a performer, but like I don't have a long history with Dr. Disrespect. I know who he is, I know what he does, but like I was never a regular viewer of his material, so I'm not speaking from a point of like trying to defend him, but I would say that the article to me reads not like a person who is like closely trying to guard against personal allegations of personal misconduct. It just, the way he keeps addressing the business angle and how he's, you know, like the idea that he's fishing for, I'm not exclusive yet, like I'm a free agent, like definitely seems like he's trying to cater to an audience where this is about like this is just a business move, and that there was something that happened that went wrong, and that, you know, legal is involved, and it doesn't strike me as risque. It probably is something pretty fucking boring, and he's just trying to carry on business as usual. And that focus that he's like just working on the brand, I don't know, he doesn't strike me as a person that is trying to defend his character.
Yeah.
It just seems like he's trying to defend the brand, which to me, and I would think is less like there's some, you know, allegation that is of like a deeply personal nature that he's gonna like how he's gonna rue the day when it comes to light.
Sure.
It seems like he's just like, it's gonna come to light when it comes to light. I just want to get moving forward with the product. You know.
Yeah, I agree. I think you know, like you mentioned, you know, it could be something completely boring. I still can't help but feel that it's got to be something pretty big, for the very fact of Twitch just banning and getting rid of him. Because from a very just business standpoint, the Doc is a big moneymaker for Twitch. You know, he's a big name.
Was
the ad that they put in for his exclusivity, you know, the one where he jumps out the plane and he's, you know, and the gliding suit and everything, like that's a big budget ad. You know, they invested a lot into the Doc, and whatever has happened, you would think that it would be in Twitch's interest to sort this. If it's a contractual issue or something, you would think it would be in their interests to try and resolve it without just having to get rid. The fact that they did just ban and move on says to me that it's got to be something pretty big for that to have happened. But you know, again, we don't know. I don't know if you guys saw as well from Nick Merck's stream. He made a comment to his chat where his chat said, "Tell us what happened to Doc," and he said, "I'll tell you in 2 months."
Yeah, which seems like there's an NDA.
That's what people are saying. Maybe
involved.
Because also, you know, Nick Merckx is signed to Twitch as far as I know. I think he's exclusive to Twitch.
For right now, yeah.
As far as I'm aware, anyway, right? So maybe he has some inside knowledge on that contract. Maybe there is a 3-month period when the contract ends where there is NDAs and things. So it seems like we might find out in 6 to 8 weeks, maybe. But it's still
I
crazy.
did find a snippet of his response. So this is Doc speaking here, and again making me think that it's something related to a contractual agreement and or getting out of a contractual agreement, that it's probably about business. He says, and I quote, "As we build this game plan to make this Doc comeback, that's still kind of in the works in terms of what the vision looks like. I'm working with my creative team, the graphics, and going and taking the whole Doc 3.0 experience to the next level, and that's where my focus is now." It almost seems like there's going to be like a rebrand, or like that clearly the brand itself is at the core of the matter, not the person, which makes me think that this is business related. So I don't know.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see on that, or we're gonna have to just wait and see. So the next thing, and I want to try and get through these, I guess, without taking too long. I know we kind of we went quite deep on those first two. The new one is Twitch tells the US Army to stop sharing fake prize giveaways that sent users to a recruitment page. So this has been a kind of interesting thing that's been unfolding. I've seen a little bit about it on Twitter. Yeah, it seems like they were running giveaways, and the giveaways were linking to recruitment pages to try and get people over there and onto those websites, which is a little shady. And Twitch has told them to stop.
Not surprising.
Well, yeah, I guess just quick thoughts on it. I mean, obviously, it's good that Twitch has stepped in to stop them doing that. Are fake giveaways, is that like a TOS thing? I don't even know about.
Well, yeah, Twitch actually they had a statement responding to it directly, but to just give like a little bit more about the basics of what happened. So there's an esports channel for the US Army, and basically the Army, Navy, and Air Force field esports teams comprised of active and reserve personnel. And they basically were including these automated links that were being dropped into the stream chat that told reviewers they could win an Xbox Series 2 controller in a giveaway. If you click the link, they were directed to a recruiting form with no additional mention of a contest, odds, total number of winners, drawing, etc. So it was just kind of this bait and switch of like, hey, in chat, like their Nightbot or Stream Elements or whatever was just like dropping a link under the pretense of getting a reward that may not be related to, maybe it would be related to like watching, the way you get like drops in game, but instead it just didn't mention anything after that. Once you clicked it, it was just a recruitment page, which Twitch basically says end quote, per our terms of service, promotions on Twitch must apply with all applicable laws. This promotion did not comply with our terms, and we have required them to remove it. It's strange that, like, I guess what's unclear about the articles that I've read is how long was it happening? Is this now a thing that Twitch is responding to because they got caught and called out, and then now they're acting proactive about it, or is this their first learning of it? And in none of the articles I've read is it clear whether or not they knew it was happening until the action was taken. So it could just be that they found out, and that simply the channels themselves were misrepresenting themselves for their own benefit. But
yeah, that's wild. Yep.
Well, see, what's happening is they're on the track to try and ban all military from the site, just like they're trying to ban the president because they're going to have their own private military soon. And Doc knew about this, and he was going to blow the whistle.
Right.
So they
It
banned
Right.
all links up.
It does. It does.
Gotcha. Very
It do
good.
be
Pepe
linking, though.
Sevilla.
You heard it
Pepe
here
Sevilla is at
first.
the core.
All right, next brief thing. Obviously, a few of us here are Destiny fans and players. The new Destiny 2 expansion, Beyond Light, has been delayed to November, which is almost 2 months from when it was originally scheduled to come out. You look confused.
Wasn't it supposed to come out at the same time as Cyberpunk, and then Cyberpunk delayed it, and now it's coming out at
Yes.
the same time as Cyberpunk again?
Yes,
It makes me so
exactly.
sad.
Dude, Cyberpunk and Destiny were supposed to release within the same week, and then Cyberpunk got delayed, and I was like, amazing. Now I can play
Now
both.
it's the same.
And now they're just
Oh,
they're right back next to each other again, which is
Maybe
And I
they're
think-
just trying to
so
be like,
frustrating.
they're just trying to be like, oh, if we don't have good numbers on this, it's because of Cyberpunk and nothing else.
and also the Assassin's Creed Valhalla is coming
it's a
out that
day
same.
before Tuesday,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So it's gonna be a busy
Just
fucking
play
time
through
for
the full
gamers.
game in one day, and then the next game the whole next day. You know,
I'm
that's
just gonna
easy.
split in
Duh.
3, and every part of mine can play. And then when I'm done with the games, I'm gonna come back together, and I'm gonna enjoy it.
I am gonna just drink copious amounts of coffee and gamer subs and just not sleep.
And die.
that's the only way. Yeah, it's interesting though because it was literally a month ago that they announced this new expansion, and yeah, you know what? A month after the announcement, they're now delaying it, which is interesting. I think it's a good thing. As a longtime Destiny player, I would rather have polished content. It's not gonna have bugs and glitches and whatever, right? I would rather they put out a good product that was had a bit more time in the oven. But yeah, a little upsetting that it's delayed a couple of months, especially when they just built the hype, announced a date, and then a month later have changed it. I luckily this year I wasn't in the position where I had any time off work to play the game, but like I was this close to putting in some holiday requests in September to play the game, and thank goodness I didn't, right? So that's one thing. But people are mad about it, of course. I think it's fine. I think it's fine.
I think it's funny.
Well, I heard some people say, "Oh, maybe Bungie knows when the new consoles are coming out, and maybe it's related to that." I don't think there's any. I don't think
No.
that matters at all.
I think that this is going to be just another thing that is endemic of the games industry and a lot of industries where they had things planned for a fourth quarter release or the end of a third quarter in preparation for like holiday sales in the fourth quarter, and things are just slipping because nationwide and worldwide
on your
there's just
side.
there's just there's like development delays, there's shipping delays, there's so many things that the coronavirus has affected in terms of how industries are interconnected, and so the shipping industry is going to affect the development industry, and the development industry is going to affect the product industry for like the consumer base. It's going to be just a mess, and lots of things are going to slip. You're going to see not just your consoles slip into maybe releases later than you'd expect. Games are going to be that way too. Movies are, and TV show productions are already sliding and aren't going to be released in their prescribed windows.
Yeah.
So like all of that stuff is just, there's no conspiracy. It's just people are working from home under conditions that they were never really prepared for. In some instances, like Bungie has said that people were able to go back into their studio to grab materials. But you figure if you had like rigs that were, if you had a decent rig that was set up that was just for rendering content, you might have like a couple big beefy ass computers that you may or may not be prepared to just move to someone's house and do that same work. And so like, we don't know how it's affecting like lag time in terms of generating the content, but also it's just an added barrier for teams communicating.
Yeah.
You're going to have people who are maybe now not being able to do meetings in person. Now they're doing it over Zoom or over Slack. And it's just, it's a new system. It's going to fuck things up for a lot of people. I'm a little bummed that these games are all going to pile up together.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be like a lot more pressure as a gamer to try and like tap into them all at the same time. But whatever.
Dude,
It's
did you play The Witcher 3? Like, you can 10 hours easy, right? One stream, one day. You know, if Cyberpunk's anything like The Witcher 3, you get done in one session, easy, no problem.
I think I put about 300 to 400 hours into The Witcher. So,
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough.
I was saying this with who was I think I was chatting with CK and somebody else and about the delay. And you know, some people are gonna, regardless of its Destiny or whatever game it is, some people in the fan base will look at a game delay and say, oh well, this is the best thing that could happen because it just means that I'm going to get a more polished product. Other people are going to react and say, oh my God, you have violated the sanctity of my trust in your company and I'm never going to buy from you again. And I'm going to boycott all your shit.
Yeah.
And other people are going to, you know, like the reactions will skew from reasonable to unreasonable, like in the blink of an eye.
People never give unreasonable actions. I can't believe you would say something
I
like that.
know.
I am disgusted. I am so disgusted. I'm going to leave the podcast now.
But yeah, it's fundamentally it's probably going to be a good thing. It might just mean we get a better product, and you have to go in assuming that that's the case. And even if it comes out the same as if it was released early, I mean, is a 2-month delay going to kill anybody? Not really. Some people would say yes, but they're being just overly dramatic. But yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's just unfortunate. It's starting to look a lot like September last year, where there was just game after game after game after game, all just coming out at the same time. But you know, it's a good problem to have.
Still trying to catch up on those games,
right? It's like everyone's upset about it, but like, I mean, there are worse problems to have in the world. Oh no, I've got a new Destiny expansion, and I've got Cyberpunk, and I've got the new Assassin's Creed.
Too many games to
play.
No,
I've got I'm spoiled.
Yeah,
I've got a wealth of riches ahead of me, and I don't know what to do.
It's gonna be a busy month, but I think we'll get through it. All right, all of us will
manage
get through it.
somehow.
I'll play. I have 3 monitors.
Still haven't beaten Witcher 3.
I have 3 monitors, so I'll just play one game on each monitor. Easy.
Perfect.
See how long your and then stream, and then your PC's gonna blow up.
Yeah. So you got to have like one of those like gamer keyboards where it's got the buttons and the mouse on the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll have 2 of those, and then
you have
you'll
to
find a
play,
way
like,
to operate one of them with your feet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to get like a gas pedal. You somehow route it to have WASD and the other shit you need, and then you just play with both hands and your feet.
Yeah, easy.
My wife and I actually hung out with some people last night that she works with, and we were playing this, I think it was a Jackbox game, and there was this weird thing where it like connected to your phone, and you'd pull back and shoot your person at these random like enemies that were on the screen, trying to blow them up. And someone was like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom real quick. So they gave me their phone, so I was trying to control both of them with my 2 thumbs. It didn't work. But good luck to you.
Yeah, I have a perfect plan. Either that, or I'll just like play each game for 5 minutes. Like we'll do 5 minutes Destiny, then we'll switch. 5 minutes of Assassin's Creed, switch.
Well, we're halfway through this cutscene, but
it's been 5 minutes. We'll find a way.
You're really eating up your time here.
Just prep your mod team to just keep switching directories on you like every 10 minutes.
Yeah, perfect. There's no way this can go wrong. So the last little sort of news topic before we get into our stream topic for the day is the game known right now as Gamer Girl, which was effectively it came out on Twitter. From what I understand, it was tweeted out by the official PlayStation Twitter account and then quickly deleted. But people got the video and reshared it on Twitter, and this looks to be a game coming out on. Well, was it just PlayStation? I can't remember. It's on
PlayStation. Tweeted it, and I haven't seen. Oh, the game which is supposed to. Okay, so from the original story, it says the game which was supposed to be coming to PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One in September, was set to let you play as a popular streamer's chat moderator and personal contact.
That's right. So yes, it is one of these. They use a specific abbreviation.
Full motion video.
FMV. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's real footage. It's not like a game engine. It's like an interactive story. You're a moderator for a streamer, and it looks like you make decisions that influence her going about, and it tells a story through watching her streams.
There's
It looks
all
like
ways to try and bring back FMV.
yeah,
Why?
all them
And it's-
thirsty gamer boys out there.
FB.
And it's a game where, so you're supposed to be the moderator, and then also they contact you. So it in the game, it's primarily all full motion video. It's pre-recorded stuff, but then there's also like game UI layered on top of that. So there's like instances in the trailer where they text you,
Mhm.
like whisper you
right,
like via
monitor.
Twitch, and then you like text them back like it through like a pseudo Discord or Twitch whisper, and like so you're a figure in their life, both as a moderator for the stream as well as like off stream.
Their life.
And then on top of that, like there's all this stuff where there's like phone recordings and or like they're FaceTiming you. Like, so you're seeing what they're seeing because they're FaceTiming you. And so there's recordings of them like out in the world doing stuff, but the trailer takes a very weird turn
Yes.
towards the end where they're like checking on I can't tell if it's supposed to be a friend of the streamer or if it's like another, like a user from chat. And like they haven't heard from the person, and then
God damn it,
something,
John.
and then maybe something bad has happened to them and they can't get a hold of them. So they go out into the real world to like find them, and you're kind of along for the ride. And then it becomes like almost like a weird Blair Witch, like horror game, but like it just, it looks really gross. Like, so for context, the whole team, they tweeted out a picture of the team that worked on the game. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 9 white dudes. And the only person that's credited on the game as a female writer is the woman herself, who is the main character, because all of her, none of her responses in scenes were scripted. It was all improv.
Okay.
So the actress is Alexandra Burton, and the streamer, her tag in game is Abby Cake 99, and basically they scripted the scenarios that she would act out, but all of her responses to those things that were happening were all improvised. So they credited her as a writer, but like fundamentally, you know,
yeah, she
wasn't given a creative role. She was given a creative improvisational role, but like still basically had to work out like work in the framework of this game that these guys are creating. So there wasn't really any female input into the entire process, which is strange, at least like at the root level. And the fact that it like goes into this like horror, like survival thing, where like she's in danger, and or like you're potentially putting her in danger by like making suggestions as to what she should do to look into the mystery of this other person, seems like you're just capitalizing on her trauma. Like,
yeah, it's weird. Like,
it's gross.
I got the impression when I first watched it that like you're supposed to be helping, right? You're the There's a mystery unfolding, and as the moderator, you're supposed to help. And then I did see people on Twitter saying, "Oh, well, it's kind of weird that there's a game where you're manipulating a streamer." And I was like, well, I didn't get that vibe from the trailer. That like you're the manipulating.
It seems like you're
these
set up.
situations. It's weird.
I think it's playing in this gray area of like, it's not. The trailer doesn't seem to imply that you're meant to manipulate her, but that you're given the option
You've got the power
to help or harm. Like, so you're this rudder for the story, so you can kind of steer the direction it takes. And the fact that like you could be in this position where, again, this isn't like a virtual, I mean, it's a virtual character in that they're fictitious, but like you're taking a video of a real human being and then walking them through sort of a what if scenario of what if I give her good advice or what if I give her bad advice.
Yeah.
And then it's also not just affecting her in the context of like dealing with trolls, because like the game has like trolls coming to chat and like you're supposed to moderate or not moderate them, and like they presumably are going to say shitty sexist things, and it's like the fact that you would maybe not moderate, I don't know, it just strikes me as super gross.
It's weird.
Yeah.
My favorite clip from that little trailer was when she got a phone call and she says, "Moderator, should I answer?" I think I'm gonna
hey, moderator.
I'm gonna start doing that. If I get a phone call on stream, I'm like, "Moderator, can I answer my phone? Is that okay?
Man.
Should I answer?" It's my mom. Is that all right? Like
spam, but
it's just
Dude, that's so weird.
It is.
So
it is
imagine
strange.
having the moderator control everything, and it's like just like Grog said, the FaceTime with the moderators. I don't know. It's like, damn, moderator, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, that's just weird.
It is.
Imagine
weird.
someone you have to ask someone in your chat to answer your phone or text back.
One of the comments from the there was a tweet that was sent out from Wales Interactive, the company that developed it, so the game company, and they quote say, "Gamer Girl is about the impact user comments and actions have on a streamer's mental health and well-being." The FMV like the version of FMV that they use was created to raise the issue of on the issue of how a toxic environment, which can often appear online behind the anonymity of a username, affects a person. So it's like clearly the game is about examining the mental health and well-being. I mean, they say mental health and well-being of a streamer, but like they're specifically targeting like a subsection of the streamer community, which is female, and how toxicity and a toxic environment can be directed at them and how it affects their mental health. And it's a game written by dudes and
called
like
Gamer Girl, like which is kind of like a that has a lot of connotations anyway.
Yeah,
it's as CK mentioned in chat, it's terrible timing, right? First of all, with all the allegations that are coming out right now, in the gaming industry specifically, bad timing. Also, I mean, even that thing you just mentioned about examining how these comments and online and everything can affect a streamer's mental health, the Wreckful situation, I mean, this is like the worst timing for this sort of thing to be coming out. I don't know if you guys saw the video Alinity posted as well, talking about her mental health and the impact that this has all had. Like, this is just so
read the fucking room, guys.
Yeah,
in
it's
a
so
gross
deaf.
way, in a gross business way, it probably was the best time for them to post it, because if they would have posted it after or before, I doubt anyone really would have cared. So they were probably like, oh, we can kind of like build on this controversy right now, and then
Which
have
if they
people
did,
talk about my game.
That's even more.
Like anyone in a business point, I wouldn't put it past them, because those kinds of people are pretty disgusting.
It is interesting. I know that PlayStation took down the tweet.
Yes.
Was it
almost immediately?
So that suggests, was it like an accidental tweet, or did they tweet it and then go, "Oh shit"?
Yes,
right,
the latter.
Okay.
Like, and then people
came in there like, okay, either we fucked up with our judgment, or we got what we needed out of this.
Responses came in, and then people who cover games media, like and games news, immediately saved it and then re-uploaded it to Twitter. So of course it's not going to go away. And then it was just I just saw a wave of articles over the course of the week. There's a tweet that someone made online that I thought kind of resonated with me in terms of my reaction to this. And the tweet reads, "The classic problem with empathy games is that it always ends up being this game is interesting to non-marginalized people and traumatizing to marginalized people." And it's like you have a sensitive issue being explored by people who are not in that position. Like, I mean, this isn't really any different from like if you had like a white dude or white woman writing about what it is to be black in America and like make a film about that, that's going to land badly. This is not that dissimilar from, having instances where, you don't have trans individuals portraying trans figures in like media covering trans trauma, like, or strife. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I don't know, maybe get the people actually involved, like, in the process. Cause like, it almost, like, you have to think about, why do they make it? Do they make it because they thought it's tantalizing, because it's a thing that if you don't fall within that demographic, it taboo is not the word I'm looking for, but it's like, it's titillating, it's interesting, it has this air of like unknowable mystery to it. Like, I've never been an e-girl, like, you know, what will it be like, you know? Like,
I don't know about you guys.
but it's just like,
it's interesting as well.
It's
to
so
think
problematic.
Well, but as well, you know, presumably, given that this was supposed to release on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, PC, it's been greenlit by all these companies to be on their platforms, right? So many people have seen this and obviously given it the okay. Now, I have to assume this was a while ago, before any of the recent events started happening. I have to assume that. But it is very interesting that so many companies gave this the green light, you know, and it got as far as it is now. Yeah, it's just very tone deaf. Very tone deaf.
But it doesn't seem like anyone thought really deeply about it, other than, oh, e-girl's a thing that I've heard before, and like, isn't that a thing in streaming? And like, from a very like surface level take, they probably reacted and were like, I don't see any problem with this, right? Like, and it could have been spun too, that this is like meant to be empowering, you know, that this is meant to be like supposed to put you in the shoes of, and like get you closer to, but really, you're not portraying the person, you're portraying a person that is secondary to the star, which is this woman streamer, and that like, you're influencing her behavior, and that like, it's not that we're showing a woman who is like at the prime of her gaming career as a streamer and is like really successful, and how do you make them more successful. This is, how do you like tackle their mental health and well-being in a toxic game environment, but doesn't seem to do so in like a delicate or sensitive way. It just seems to be exploiting a scandalous topic. I don't know.
No,
It's shitty.
it is, and I think it's something to keep an eye on, see what happens with it. It's yeah, kind of one of those crazy things that you wouldn't necessarily believe. Like, if you told me that this existed, I would have said you're lying. like there's no way this is a thing. But
Or
it's
just
a
that
thing,
it's like, wow,
know?
that's unnecessary.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, I guess it was inevitable.
Anyway, right, to jump onto the main topic. Honestly, we spent much longer on the news than I was expecting to, but I guess there's a lot of interesting things to go over. The sort of main topic I want to get to just now relates a lot to our topic from last week, which was setting goals, right? This one is to do with celebrating success and the sort of streamer guilt that we may or may not feel in relation to, you know, sharing that success, right? So all of us are on Twitch, Twitter, right? I imagine all of us are. Every tweet I see more or less is a content creator, because I don't follow that many other people. My Twitter is just flooded with streamers, YouTubers, content creators. So a lot of times, you know, when people maybe hit a goal, they hit a milestone, they get their you know, they have a phenomenal stream, whatever, they're going to take to Twitter to, you know, thank their communities and post about that success that they've achieved, right? And it was brought up to me as an interesting topic of, you know, if that's ever happened, you've posted and said, well, we hit this follower goal, thank you, it's been amazing, blah, blah, blah. The feeling that I know some people have of kind of guilt about sharing that success, because they know that a lot of their audience or people that follow them on social media might also be content creators that are trying to grow as well. And I guess it's kind of the topic I want to have is, you know, where do you get between sort of celebrating that success but feeling guilty that you might make someone else feel lesser, or better yet, you know, how do you feel when you see others succeeding? Does that affect your drive, your ambition? You know, how does that kind of affect, and what is, yeah, it's a tough one, right? It's a tough one, because I can relate to it a little bit. I can feel I don't like to brag. I don't like to go on Twitter and be like, oh, we got X amount of follows today. Like, I'm not like that, but at the same time, I do want
In
to.
our group chat, you post your stats after every stream. Don't even lie.
It's really excessive, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's he just hits stream summary and then blacks out anything that like is negative, like anything that was downtrending, and then just aggressively circles in red everything that was
Photoshop
positive.
everything.
So we keep saying, why don't you just screen share it with us next time? He goes, no, I don't know how to do that.
That's the reason I haven't streamed in like 3 months, because every time after streaming he would send me these and be like, "You ain't shit, bro. Stop streaming."
Okay. Obviously, those are horrible lies.
I think
But
they
yeah,
were
like-
good lies.
I guess I just wanted to. So I'll give you my point of view on it, right? My perspective on it. When I sit down and I think about my time on Twitch, I've been streaming like something like 4 years. I work very hard. At least I think I work very hard. And I try and make content for YouTube and the podcast and stream as much as I can and all this, right? And I'm very, very happy with where I am. I'm delighted. And, you know, if I take a step back and I really think about it, it's amazing, right? That even anybody wants to watch a stream or watch a podcast or watch a video, right? It blows my mind and it's amazing, right? But at the same time, we all are very self-critical, right? And particularly, again, at least in my experience, right? I don't want to speak for anyone else, but in my experience, I care so much about my content and my community and trying to grow that sometimes I will be very hard on myself. And if I start maybe seeing, okay, well, this stream, I didn't have as many viewers, or, okay, well, my follower count's actually going down instead of up. What am I doing wrong? And I get really kind of down on myself a little bit, because it is hard, right? Everyone experiences burnout. Everyone experiences like a lack of motivation. And I'll be honest, sometimes going on Twitter and seeing somebody else having huge success, it can kind of get in your head a little bit, right? Obviously, I'm happy for anybody having success. Of course I am, right? We're all in this together, right? We're all colleagues. We're all doing the same thing. But I can see the argument, right? And I definitely don't like to go on to Twitter and brag about, well, I got this amount of viewers today. I had this, right? But I don't like to do it because I just don't want it to seem like I am bragging if I've had a good stream. Yeah, I guess I just wanted your guys' thoughts on it. You know, is that something you do? Would you go on Twitter? Would you feel guilty? Or do you get affected by other people sharing their success? You know, what are your guys' thoughts on it?
I've done it in the past, but not often. But really, I get like a mixed bag when I see other people posting things like that, where if I'm in a good state of mind, I'll go like, oh, that's fucking awesome. If I'm having a bad day because like maybe I had a bad stream or outside influences, then yeah, it can bum me out and I can go like, oh, why even try?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that, how to say it? I think that there are, I don't want to say that it is limited to people who are like it, who create things, like, but like it's
a difficult one, right?
It's
Moving
yeah.
on.
So basically, it's like a lot of people who create something, be it art or music, or put work into editing or streaming or whatever it is. I feel like there's this trend or this likelihood that imposter syndrome kicks in at some point. And I don't want to say that is limited just to people who are in the process of creating something, because it can affect a lot of people in a lot of different roles and occupations. But imposter syndrome also seems to be like deeply intertwined with people who have anxiety and depression. And it's a weird thing to think about, because you have people who sometimes have social anxiety or have, they grapple with negative thoughts. And here they are in an environment where they are willingly putting themselves out in front of an audience. And that seems counterintuitive. Like, if you have anxiety, wouldn't broadcasting make you feel more anxious? Or if you feel depressed and feel like low energy and you think horrible things about yourself, why would you be on stream? Why would you have a face cam? Like, why would you do any of that stuff? The thing is, there isn't really like a solid answer because it is unique for each person. I saw a tweet that somebody posted the other day that was retweeted, and it was a female streamer who showed a clip from their stream where they usually don't use a face cam. They have a web camera, but they have like an avatar there instead. And it was them doing their face cam, and it was just like chat was just like so fucking horrible and just roasting her, over like her weight, and it was disgusting. And she turned off the camera. So it's like clearly some people, if it can be hard to put yourself in an environment where you are vulnerable. And for some people, like, yeah, they're not going to run a face cam. They're not going to feel comfortable doing that. And for some of us, I think that these things do affect us. We do feel stress and anxiety and depression and a pressure to put on a good show, and we do it anyway, even though we're really scared on the inside. I don't think that how we present ourselves to the community and how we present ourselves in stream is always a good picture of what's happening under the surface. And because this is a complicated issue and topic, it's kind of like I get lost in my own thoughts and words in terms of where to start and where to take the narrative. But I would just say imposter syndrome is real. And I would say it's very, very strong with people who are in a creative field where they have to put some part of themselves out there to be judged. For me, I grapple with this shit all the time. Like I'll see people who are absolutely killing it, and they're putting in a lot of hard work, and they're really motivated, and I watch their success from afar, and it can feel demoralizing to me. Other times, the same kind of exuberance and enthusiasm over their success can also be a spark that lights me up. Sometimes it's just down to my mood and like where I am individually that day or that month or what have you. It can just hit differently at different times. But yeah, I don't know. It's complicated.
Yeah, I once saw XQC talk about this briefly, and he made the whole thing about the worst thing you can do is be looking at others' success and judging your own success on that, right? Because if you keep working, you're gonna have that growth spurt at some point, sooner or later, if you keep going. There's so many great things. I mean, I've seen someone on Twitter had a statement that just said, your success on Twitch in terms of your numbers does not correlate to your personal value. You cannot let that get you down, because it doesn't change who you are as a person. It doesn't make you any more or less valuable as a person, right? And I have so many things in my life that I'm very happy for, and my success on Twitch doesn't affect that, right? If I stop streaming tomorrow, I still have a family and a wife and a house, and like, not to flex too hard, there's so many things. I think for me it is all just about, like you sort of hinted at, is your state of mind going into things, right? Like if you're looking at things from the right point of view, you can be happy for those around you succeeding, and maybe even use that as motivation for yourself, right? Maybe think, well, I want to get there, I want to do that, I'm going to just work harder, I'm going to double down on my efforts, whatever. At the same time though, it can be very hard. So from my personal experience, right, I'm going to get slated for saying this, but like, I'm getting older, I'm rapidly approaching 30. I don't have a career, right? I don't really have any qualifications. I have a job, but it's not a career, right? It's not really going anywhere. And my passion is to do this, right? So there's days where it feels like it's never going to happen. It's never going to work out. I'm never going to reach a point where I could do this full time. So then when I open up Twitter and I just see all these people that are just having huge streams, phenomenal streams, and hitting all these amazing goals, sometimes it does just go like, I'm never going to get there. I'm never going to achieve that. Particularly it's like, oh, well, this guy's only been streaming 6 months and he's like achieved at this, or this girl's only been streaming for a year and I've been here 4 years. And like, it's very hard, and it does get in your own head a little bit. I haven't honestly thought a lot about it from the other point of view, posting things about my own successes, right? Because I guess it never really crossed my mind, oh, this might make someone else feel bad. I more of look at it as, well, I just don't want to seem like I'm trying to brag or anything, because again, I also know that how incredibly lucky I am to have an audience, right? Like, it's amazing, and I don't ever want to seem like I'm bragging or trying to flex on anybody, right? Like, so it's a difficult situation. What I would say, my personal philosophy on it, I'm gonna share successes when it's right? I'm not gonna, despite what you've heard on the show tonight, I'm not gonna share my stats after every stream, and talk about that.
Okay, it's just some of them.
I honestly I've stopped going live tweets almost every time now. I will only do a going live tweet maybe once or twice a week now. And honestly, I have to say, I think my Twitter engagement's better. But I'm tweeting things that are unrelated to the stream. I've been gaining more followers on Twitter. I've been getting more engagement. People are talking to me on Twitter. It's been good. And my stream numbers don't seem to have affected at all. Going live tweets seem to have had no impact on my stream. Right?
You heard it here, folks. Connie says don't tweet that you're going live.
This is just my experience. I am trying to step back away from Twitter a little bit because I do think Twitter has a negative effect on my mental health a little bit, right? And it's probably my own fault because, again, it's the first fucking thing I do when I wake up in the morning. I wake up, especially on a day off, I'll wake up, open Twitter, right? It's a terrible way to start your day. It really is. And I've always said to Dale, like, sometimes I just fucking hate Twitter. It makes me feel bad about myself, which is, I think, that is a well accepted thing with social media, right? Social media, everyone is putting their best self out there, so it can make you feel bad about yourself. That is just social media. That's what it's there for, right? And my wife has said to me so many times, just delete Twitter. Just delete it if it makes you feel bad. And I've always said, I can't. I need it, right? Like, as a streamer, I need to have social media. So I'm definitely trying to step back a little bit from it, and stopping the going live tweets every single day has been a big thing for me. I feel like I'm checking Twitter less because of that as well. Yeah, I think it is really fascinating. It really is, because it can have extremes on both ends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of this just revolves around self-confidence. And if you're at a point where you just don't have confidence in yourself, it's going to be really hard to sometimes take ownership of the confidence that others have in you. Like, hearing praise from other people when you question your self-worth can be painful to hear sometimes, because you don't want to believe it. You just sometimes it feels like your gut reaction is to dismiss it. So you might have a great stream and you have people, maybe you're open about things that are going on with you right now, or maybe not. Maybe just people in chat are telling you what they see when they see the stream, and they're telling you good stuff, and in your head you're just like, I fucking hate the way I look, or I hate my weight, or I hate how my overlays look, or like I stay, like there's all this stuff that's in the background. You might have, like, sometimes I'll stay up really late working on a project and try to like tweak something, and I'll put like 6 hours into it, and the next day, I'll put it out on stream, and people are just like, yeah, I don't like the way that looks. And it's really hard to, but then they'll say like what they do like about it. And then it's hard to sometimes retract, like the bit where you're reminding yourself of the negative, and you're not taking it and processing the positive. And so it's sometimes hard to separate the two, because if you already are coming at yourself from a point of self-criticism, you arrive at that point sooner, because it's the first thing you see. It's the first thing you're expecting to see in yourself. And so, like, sometimes even when you're getting praise, you just, if there's only praise and there's no negativity, you can like fabricate your own negativity.
Yeah.
Like, you can just find you can make your own reasons up that have absolutely nothing to do with like the positivity or like the objective criticism that is still like overly positive that you're getting from your community. And you can still just like feel like you've either let people down, or it's hard because we set expectations for ourselves, and there's also expectations that are set for us by others. And drawing that distinction is important. But even if you are able to make that distinction, even if you objectively know, like, okay, my chat doesn't expect this, this, and this of me, they expect is that, that maybe I stream consistently, and that like we keep up the vibes that we have, and we maintain and nurture the community that we have. That's all they really expect of me. But maybe you still have your own personal expectations that you haven't shared with the community, and or you have hangups, public or private, that like get in the way, and it becomes really difficult because sometimes you just need to get help and take care of that outside of stream. I mean, if you can put your finger on the fact that like anxiety is the root of your problem, if you can figure out what is triggering that anxiety, then speaking to someone or working on that outside of stream might help you on stream. But that said, let's say you're doing everything right. Let's say you're not, struggling with depression or anxiety, or you're not second guessing yourself. Things are going well, and you have a positive view of where you are. Even then, you can put stuff out there into the world and say, hey, I did this thing, I hit this milestone. And maybe it gets one like on Twitter. It doesn't invalidate you just because you only got one heart on Instagram, or you got one like on Twitter, or one response on Facebook. You don't need more likes or more bits of validation to mean that you did a good job. You can just have done a good job, and you can just be unfortunate enough that there's not more people that see it. Um, just because there are others that are succeeding at a rate that either outpaces you or gets more notice than you, none of that means that you're doing a bad job. It just it just maybe means that an algorithm picked them up differently. Maybe it means that their community is more aggressively retweeting their stuff. It doesn't invalidate your hard work. um and I don't know, I feel like this is something I could ramble on forever, so I don't want to like take up the um you know take up too much time. But yeah, it's just, I guess what I would point out is we are always our own worst critics, and that's an
Yep.
expression I think that is kind of a universal, has a universal translation, universal appeal, and there's a truth to that. um and usually we are our own worst critics because of both societal expectations and personal expectation, and not meeting either of those means that we can be seen as less than. I think it's just trying to remind ourselves that when we do have these accomplishments and achievements, you can be proud about them, and it doesn't mean that you're haughty. It doesn't mean that you're, chasing clout. It doesn't mean that you're being a braggart. I mean, you can use you can do things to an excess and become braggy about it. You can do things to an excess and become kind of haughty about, like, look at me, look at these fucking plebs, like, not pulling their weight like the way I do. Like, yeah, anything to an excess can be toxic. Don't don't do that. But
Yeah.
like, at the end of the day, you can be proud of yourself. You should be proud of yourself. I think it's just hard when we've been conditioned as individuals to be humble and show humility in instances where we might otherwise take pride in what we do. And I don't have an answer. I just
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I have a few more thoughts on it as well. Like, it's the age old thing that if you're looking at others' success and it does make you feel bad about your own level of success, or whatever, however you're judging it yourself, the important thing to remember is it's not a race. Everyone grows at their own speed, their own pace. It is not a sprint to any kind of finish line, right? That you enjoy the journey, right? Like, that's the whole point. If you're just in it to get to a certain next level, you're not going to be enjoying what you're doing now, and that's not going to be any fun to look back on. And honestly, if you're not enjoying what you're doing now because you're just thinking about the next thing, it's going to show, and you're never going to get there, right? I read I was listening to a podcast, and somebody was saying sometimes just by saying something makes you less likely to achieve it. Because if you say, I'm going to run 5 miles every day, by telling that to someone, you get a little hit a dopamine or whatever in your brain to be like, yeah, that's a goal that I'm going to do. And you're immediately less likely to do that because you've kind of rewarded yourself by telling someone about it. I don't know the specifics, right? But like, it makes sense to me that if you speak these things out loud, sometimes you can affect your own ability to do that.
You could absolutely psych yourself out because now you've put an expectation out there both for you and for others.
Yeah.
And then you are setting yourself up potentially for heartache when you don't do it. So if you say, I'm going to run that 5 miles and I'm starting out at 1 mile a day and I'm going to get to 5 miles within this time period, that time period passes and you're not there. I mean, just think about how easy it's going to be to blame yourself and how easy is it going to be for others to kind of put you, cast you in like a sort of a suspect light. If they want to. I mean, if the people are your friends, they'll just be like, hey dude, don't worry about it. Like, you got another month, or you can just keep extending the timeline. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with strangers, people you don't know, you've set a goal that may not be attainable and it's hard to retract that publicly.
Yeah, but also even just, there's that little bit of satisfaction of saying, I'm going to do this. And, maybe in your head you think, well, I've set that goal. I've told them I'm going to do this. And that kind of gives you that little reward of like, oh, well, that was an impressive thing that I'm going to do. And it almost sort of rewards you a little bit for doing that. And it's always been my kind of philosophy to not really just come out and say, this is what I'm going to do. Like, I try and keep that stuff in and just work on that, myself, because that way I feel like it's going to be better when I achieve the goal or whatever it is I'm trying to do, right? That's just my own way of thinking of it. There's obviously, it's going to be different for everybody. The other thing I think is that it's important to remember that, looking at others' success, whether that is on, Twitter or Twitch or in life, whatever, it's important to not look at it and just think, well, it's just jealousy, because like that's not a nice feeling. Nobody likes to feel like jealous of someone for something else. And that's, I think, why it's kind of an awkward one, right? Like, I can be happy for a friend that's having a ton of success, but then also feel bad about myself because I'm not achieving that level of success. But I wouldn't ever say it comes down to, oh, I'm jealous, because again, I wouldn't want to change anything about my life right now. Like, I wouldn't want to change.
And you don't want to take away from their success if you're really proud of them.
100%. Absolutely. Right. So it's very, very interesting to kind of reflect on why that is bothering you or making you feel, any kind of way. I think you should be posting about achievements, celebrating, as somebody brought up in chat, it doesn't even necessarily need to be on Twitter. It can be in your own community, in Discord. If you set a goal and you achieve that goal, by all means, celebrate that, right? The people that, again, even if someone is maybe affected by it, like, I'll never stop supporting a friend of mine. If they blow up, become hugely successful, any of you guys, I'm still going to be there. I'm still going to be in your chat. I'm still going to support you. It's not going to make me, it's not going to change anything, right? So, like, I would want you guys to
you're
show
going to
that.
ban him.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not on my level, he's not going to be in my chat.
It was so quiet, I wasn't sure if I heard it.
Okay, well, excluding Manu, right? I'll be there. I just think it's, okay, Pigeon's just mentioned. Pigeon, this is actually kind of based on your tweet earlier. I thought it was an interesting topic, so that's why we're kind of going through it. I hope that's okay. We've just stole content from you.
Damn!
But yes, I do think it's interesting, and I also think, again, it cannot be a thing where you can worry too much about others, right? It's very much a personal thing. I've said it before. There's times I want to delete Twitter. There's times I want to just not look at it because it can affect my confidence. But that's not anybody else's problem. That's my issue. And I would hate for anybody that I know to not celebrate their success because they're worried that I might feel bad or that somebody else may feel bad, right? It's a personal issue, and you should try and use it to motivate yourself. But at the same time, take a step back. Think about where you're at. Again, I think I tweeted last weekend because I just had a moment where I just was able to kind of zoom out from everything and go, like, this is amazing. like where we are. I have, the fact that I have anybody watching my streams, anybody talking in my chat or watching my YouTube videos, like coming to listen to the podcast, is mind blowing, right? And that's in my opinion, that's the right attitude. You sort out your own attitude and goals, and you'll get there in time. It's about setting reasonable goals that we mentioned last week. If I set a goal, I want to hit this amount of followers by the end of the week. It doesn't matter if I stream 24/7. I might not hit that goal because I can't force someone to come in and follow the channel. So set a goal that you can achieve. And then that way you can feel really good about achieving that goal. That makes sense?
Yeah.
TLDR, it's not a race. Be happy for your friend's success. Again, we have this podcast, right? Like, if Grog goes viral tomorrow, right? Blows up, 20,000 viewers. Some of those viewers are probably going to come to the podcast, right? It's a win-win, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's a rising tide raises all boats. Okay? When Ninja blew up on Twitch, obviously Ninja getting a ton of viewers, but do you think...
Ninja?
Say again, Maddie, sorry?
You mean Fortnite Ninja?
I mean Fortnite Ninja, yes, Poggers.
Yeah.
When he blew up on Twitch, right? Do you think, like, the other big streamers, Dr. Lupo, Tim, do you think they felt jealous of that? Or do you think they thought, well, look at all these thousands and thousands of new eyes that are on Twitch, that the platform is growing overall? That means everybody grows. See what I'm getting at? Like, it's
yeah. I think it can. I think that I think it depends on how big your personal bubble is, how big your network is. If Tim the Tatman continues to explode on Twitch, it doesn't help me. You know what I mean? Like it. Yes and no, because I think that depending on how far removed you are from the success of other people, it really can have absolutely no effect on you. And in some ways, it might actually hurt, because if, let's say, I think it was during the coronavirus, the early days, like March, April, etc. I think Twitch broadcasting was up like 17%, which just means there's more people in every directory, which means that there's less eyes that could see you, because it's being diluted by an influx of more streamers. And then because the way that the directories are set up, the bigger people are always at the top. So as they continue to blow up, they just kind of continue to benefit. I think that on a small level, yes, it's true. I think that if you try to foster a positive relationship with the people that you are already working with, and try to forge new inroads with people that are around your level, either above or below, yeah, absolutely, you can see their success become your success, and your pride in them can become their pride in you, and their community's pride in you. I do think there is a limit, though. I think that at a certain point, you pass a threshold of distance between the overall success of others and it affecting you. Because let's be honest, we're talking about success here and pride, but like, also look at, I mean, if Tim or some other huge, or like Glad or someone, or a Summit or some other big person with a huge viewer base does something absolutely awful, and Twitch gets dragged through the mud, and it's suddenly now in the public sphere that, like, this platform is now associated with this reprehensive, horrible thing, which it really kind of was recently with the video game Me Too thing that has been unfolding. Like, that may not help you, and that and through association, that could be damaging to you if you're trying to build up a reputation, and you're doing so through a platform that comes under fire.
Yeah.
I think that something I want to kind of like shift the conversation to, and I'd be curious to hear feedback from like each of you, is in as it pertains to like gifted subs or donations or like cheers from, especially from either other streamers or regulars within your chat or people who are even your mods, like, and how that may or may not make you feel uncomfortable. Because like I've definitely been in a position where I feel very conflicted about celebrating any success that I have at the expense of benefiting from the people that I'm trying to make happy. And yet for some reason, yes, the whole platform is built around it's free to watch. People kind of like, tip you and support you at their leisure if they think that you're worth it. But at the same time, I sometimes am consumed by this overwhelming feeling of guilt if people like drop a cheer and then they drop another cheer, and I'm just like, okay, guys, you're really starting to like go buck wild here with like, your expenses. Like I feel like I'm not worth it. Sometimes I feel like I'm a fraud, or that I'm just like that I'm not deserving of that level of like hype. And then the like maybe a hype train starts and all of a sudden people are just like throwing shit at you and you're just like, I don't deserve this. Like I'm not it's like the praise can feel overwhelming, and it doesn't feel it could be alien and unfamiliar, because if you're not used to having praise in your life or having that kind of validation, you just, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I completely agree. I think it's a bit of the imposter syndrome, and I
Yeah.
feel it too.
My coffee's here. I'm gonna be right back.
Yeah, no worries. We had like I had a hype train yesterday, right? And you feel very conflicted, right? Obviously, when I see a hype train happen on another channel, it's amazing. It's like all this love and support, and it's great, right? And I want to partake. I want to get involved, but then I struggle to see it from the other side when I'm the broadcaster, and people are being so generous and gifting subs and cheering and whatever. I do feel like uncomfortable almost, right? And it is weird. It is very, very weird. It's again, when we talk about, celebrating successes and things, I've always felt weird about putting any kind of sub goal on my stream, and I see people will have a sub goal and it'll be like 100, 20 out of 100 or something, right? And it's like both at the same time you're showing, oh, this is how many subs I currently have, this is how many subs I want. And it feels weird. I've never wanted to do that because it just kind of, I've experimented with it and it never felt good. So I stopped because it felt like that same thing of like showing my, look how many subscribers I have, right? Like that just felt weird to me. And it's the same way. If somebody donates, if somebody gifts some subs, like I feel uncomfortable about it. But at the same time, I can see it from a viewer's point of view as well, because I will try and turn that around. When I get, the monthly paycheck from Twitch, I will bookmark some of that or earmark some of that to go and show some love to other streamers, right? And particularly if it is other streamers, colleagues that are partaking in like gifting in my channel, then I want to go and try and return the favor. I mean, yesterday after that hype train, or was it yesterday? Whatever, the other day after the hype train, we went and raided a charity stream at the end, and it was awesome because that same sort of love kind of carried over into the charity stream, and I saw some of the people from my community donating to the charity and getting involved in that, and that was super nice. And it almost made me feel a little bit better to go over there and then share that love onto like a really fucking good cause. But yeah, I mean, it's a very strange feeling. I don't think we'll ever, I can't imagine you ever get used to that, but the way I deal with it personally is, by trying to share that support and that love around, drop a raid or a host on somebody, again, I'll take some of that Twitch money each month and gift subs to other communities, whatever, right? That's kind of how I try to make that fit in my head, if that makes sense. What about you guys? Sorry, Kibbles has got his coffee, so it's a bad time. It's very interesting. I just want to kind of
supposed to be here in 40 minutes and it showed up in 15. So
God damn it, that's so
which is
unprofessional.
cool, but like, I was looking at the map, I was like, oh fuck you, god damn it, why are you so fast?
I just to kind of go back to. Oh, sorry. If you've got something to say, please, by all means.
No, not really. I just
all I was going to say was, you know, again, back in my day, right, when I first started streaming, I streamed for 0 viewers for probably a year, right? Maybe 1, maybe 2, but it was kind of just accepted that this takes a very long time to get started and to get going. And I almost feel like recently now it's started to be different. I mean, I've seen people come into my chat and said, you know what, I'm going to give streaming a go. And then it's like within 2 weeks, they're affiliate and they've had like a hype train and they've got all these subs. And it's like, that's crazy to me to think that you've been streaming for like 2 months and, you know, it took me 2 years to reach a sub count that you're on now. But then I almost feel like that's worse.
Even if you're happy for them, you can still feel gutted. And
A
that's
little
like such
bit,
a
yeah.
weird place to be in, you know?
Yes. But then I almost think, well, but that is worse because I've had this years and years and years of like slow building the channel and the community and, you know, not being monetized for a very long time. You know, I was on Twitch before affiliates were a thing. I didn't have a donation button until very recently. And I just kind of built it up very, very slowly. So then I already have the expectation of, well, you know, like gifted subs are going to drop off. Like you're going to see, you know, a downtick in subs and followers from time to time. Like that's just how it is. But as a brand new streamer, if you start and you get affiliated really quick and then there's all this hype and you have all this love and support in your channel, 2 months time, if that dips down, like how's that going to make you feel? You know, it's, you've not had the years of build up that a lot of people have had. And I just think it's very interesting these days. I mean, obviously it's different.
The years of letdown have tempered you and your expectations.
It's not like, yeah, I mean, that makes it sound bad, but like, I just mean,
no. But I know what you mean. It's like you've seen both the ups and downs. So it can feel bad when you see others like swiftly rise to success, but then like also you're in a position where now you've experienced enough of these ups and downs that like you have kind of like steeled yourself for it so that when it happens you have kind of a, in a sense, like a healthier expectation for what it's going to take.
I feel like the new streamer experience on Twitch now is different to how it was 4 or 5 years ago. You know, I feel like there's almost this like understanding that like, oh, streaming is about making money, which could be partly down to, you know, the success of some of the absolute top tier streamers recently becoming more and more mainstream. And, you know, you couldn't look anywhere without seeing like Ninja makes millions playing Fortnite. And I feel like there's a lot of people come onto Twitch with that expectation nowadays. And like, because Twitch as a community can be so wholesome and supportive, it just feels like it's a very different experience to how it used to be with the very, very slow growth. You can blow up so fast now, you know, if you get lucky and you have the right content and everything like that. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, just as an example, there was a streamer a few months ago, and I cannot remember his name. He did like IRL streams, and I'm sure this guy just went viral because somebody gifted him a sub and he was like, no, don't do that. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, can I refund it to you? How do I refund it? And people were like, oh, this streamer's so nice. So like, he just got tons of love. And like, I think a couple of big streamers got in and like bought him like a computer and stuff for his stream. And like, he just blew up. And it was like the littlest thing, just because this guy was brand new and he was like, I don't want you to do this. Like, let me refund you these gifted subs and stuff. Like, you know, anything can happen at any time. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that don't ever minimize your own success, right? No matter what level of success you perceive it to be, there is always someone that wants your level of success, right? There's always someone with less viewers that wishes they had your viewers. There's always someone below them, probably even. And there is an overwhelming majority. I don't know the actual stat, right? So this may have changed, but at some point I looked it up and it was something like 93% of streamers stop after 30 days. They start streaming and within the first 30 days they go, this isn't for me, and they stop. So if you've streamed longer than 30 days, you are already in the top like 10% of streamers on Twitch. Easy. That's easy. And that is a number that you can be kind of proud of, right? Because there are millions and millions and millions of people on Twitch, and a lot of them have tried to stream and they've just gave up. So if you go for longer than 30 days, you're already up there.
I think one of the things that I'm struggling with right now is taking credit or taking praise from people, especially as it pertains to um, monetary gifts from people I see as friends, people I hold close. It was a thing that ZK mentioned further up the chat, saying it's not easy or comfortable to accept monetary gifts from people you look upon in a friendly light. Um, I mean, I kind of feel that way, right? Like, and I think that it beyond just like take it outside streaming for a second. For anyone who has a trade skill or knows a craft, how often have you had a conversation with a friend or a colleague where you're just like, oh yeah, I can edit that for you, no problem. Or like like you're looking for somebody to like I do icons, like I could make you an icon or two, and then they're like, how much money do I? And you're like, oh, it's nothing. Like please, I don't, please, but like it's this strange feeling like when your emotional attachment or connection to an individual is so close, you feel there's a real sense of guilt sometimes. um and I don't know why. Like I just genuinely don't know why, but it's definitely there. It's there for me, and I feel sometimes uncomfortable and or just undeserving, because it's like, for example, I am trying to grow on Twitch. I am trying to make this like to an extent, a means of supplemental income. I want to provide a quality service. I want people to have an expectation of the stream, and I want to deliver, right? And so I want people who are already subbing to get their money's worth, and I want, people who might be interested to make it worth their while to sub. But then it's like I am also conscious that, you know, I can't sub to everyone I want to sub to, because then it completely undermines the whole idea of like trying to cultivate new subs and build this community from the perspective of, you know, it is a business to an extent, and I want to be successful at it. But it also means like I can't sub to everyone that I'm even on this podcast with. Like I can't sub to, all the people that I want to show love to on a regular basis. And then it's like I have a regular feeling of guilt when a friend raids a friend, and I go into their channel and I'm like, fuck, I'm not subbed to Kibbles. Like, and I'm somebody gifts me a sub to like a friend, and I'm just like, I want to be able I want to be able to use their emotes, and I want to be able to support them the way they support me. And then I have a real sense of guilt for anyone who has been subbing to me and I'm not subbing to them. And there's just this, it's like, from a logistical point of view, it makes sense, right? Like there is a finite number of resources. There is an expansive number of people that you maybe want to show enthusiasm for, and those two things are at odds. Um, and then it's like, well, who do I continue to keep subbing? Like, and who don't I? And like, why? And like, it just it just makes me have these icky feelings, and it's like I feel like I'm paying preferential treatment
Yeah.
to some folks at the expense of others, when sometimes that decision feels so far from being really in my hands to make that I'm just, it isn't about like I like this person more than that person. I want to show support to somebody, and I have a limit of 5 subs per month, and that's just what I'm sticking to. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just I've made an arbitrary decision. Like, this is what I can afford to spend per month, and maybe on occasion I'll like drop one in favor of picking up somebody else, and I'll shift it around. But like, oh god, it feels so deeply uncomfortable. Not like it's guilt. It's there's the strong sense of guilt that I want to do more. I feel like sometimes I'm not doing enough to fuel the sense of love and satisfaction that I get from my own community sometimes, and that I'm not doing that for other people. And it can hurt. And I, other than just striking it rich and just showering everybody I know with subs, like I don't know what I can really do. And it's this strange dynamic of having sort of an intimacy and a closeness with people that you care about and wanting to be supportive of their craft, while at the same time they're supporting you doing your craft, and you're kind of in the same market doing the same thing, and you feel like you're not fulfilling an obligation. I don't know what the solution is to that, though.
There, as far as I see it, there's other ways. Any of us would say the same thing, okay? Which I get exactly what you mean, and I feel it too. If I raid a friend after a stream and realize I'm not subbed, like, it feels weird sometimes, right? Especially if I know that person's like a long-time subscriber to me, like it does feel strange. But personally, when you come into my stream, and you, not just being you, Grog, like you as a whole, anybody comes into my stream, whether you're subbed or not, you get treated the same. Doesn't make a difference. It will never affect the way I would treat a viewer, and I think you would all say the same thing, right? Maybe not Humps. I don't know about Humps, but like the rest of us, right? Like,
he's angling for that sub only chat, I can tell.
Yeah, obviously I'm kidding. But like, yeah, I think that is a thing that if the streamer is a friend, someone that's worthwhile, they don't think that. I don't ever think that. It's I really think it's on the viewer side rather than. I don't think the streamer cares, and if they do care,
thank God, because that'll save me $5 a month, Candy.
Yeah, there you go. No, please feel free. Twitch Prime free.
And there's more way to support than just monetary.
Yes.
You're there. If you're there, you're interacting, that's support. If you're interacting on Twitter, that's support. If you're helping cultivate something on Discord, that's support. There's just carrying someone in Warzone, not that I would know what that's like. There's just hundreds of ways to do it, and to kind of down yourself for one single thing, it's not fair to you.
Yeah.
It's very, very detrimental to yourself, and just kind of step back a little bit. And it's okay. Like, this is something that Rachel, my wife, tells me all the time. It's okay to feel sad or upset about things. Like, those are legitimate feelings, but try and get to the root of it and then counteract it with, however, I do this, I do that. Don't just bog yourself down with the negative things.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think for me, I always feel like I'm not doing enough. Like, I want to do more. I either want to do more for myself in the channel, or I want to do more for the community, and I feel like it's not always from a point of view of like, oh, I feel like I owe the community this, but like, I personally want them to enjoy the whole experience more. Like, I want them to be happy. I want my friends to be happy. I want everyone to I have aspirations and goals for just improving myself, and just improving the friendships and the relationships I have. And I feel like sometimes I'm not doing enough, and that guilt really just can be a head trip. And it's just tied to so many things.
Yeah, I get it, but then you have to remember that you're not giving yourself credit for a lot of the things that you do. Like, like, again, I think like there's so many things that I would like, for me personally, right? I find it very valuable every week to sit down and have a conversation with you guys about this sort of stuff. And I'd like to think people that watch and listen to the podcast might get some value out of it as well, right? Just being able to bring a topic and think, well, this is something that's maybe been bothering me this week. Let's bring it up and talk about it on the podcast. Getting all your guys' views on it, hugely helpful to me, right? Just being in a stream talking, hugely helpful. Or like even just a DM, Kibbles and I will DM each other all the time about YouTube stuff or stream stuff, and we do the same in like the podcast chats and all these things. It really does make a difference. And I've had people recently say, oh, you've helped me with this, you've helped me with that, and like, I don't even realize I'm helping anybody. I'm just doing my thing. I really think that, yeah, it's okay to feel that, because I feel it too. But if you take a step back, I think you realize that you do a lot without realizing. And like, personally, again, like being able to just talk and get these ideas, right? Because a lot of content creation is about, trial and error, finding what works, what doesn't work, and being able to bounce that off of even the live chat here, being able to talk about things and get feedback immediately and all that is super helpful. And again, I would like to hope people watching in the stream talking with other people in chat and getting ideas from us is helping everybody. So there's there's a lot of things other than just the financial support. And I think all of us as streamers would rather just have somebody talking in chat than my worst nightmare is someone coming into the chat and realizing, oh, my sub expired. I'm not going to type anything because I don't want them to see that my sub's expired. Come in and talk. Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, that would be terrible. The worst part would be for someone to feel awkward and then not come back to your channel. So I think creating that environment where, being there in the chat, hanging out, having a good time is number one most important thing. Any financial thing is secondary. And if you want to support, you can, but it's all a bonus. And that is down to the community that you cultivate and create. And I don't think any of us hopefully come across as, it's $5, chat. It's $5. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that it comes across that way. And, again, when we all come down to it, it's whether or not we all have goals to grow as streamers. It's not a race. As long as you're focusing and enjoying what you're doing and making interesting and fun content and building a community, the rest of it will come with time. It's going to be different for everyone. Might be fast, might be slow, but it's not a race.
Well, and I think a lot of the points that you guys mentioned make sense and can be extrapolated to things like the broader social networks that we're a part of. And, you can pay people back by celebrating their achievements, like, so retweeting somebody else's success, is not you necessarily trying to glom onto that success, but you can just simply be proud for them. Somebody does a thing and you share that, you promote them, and you promote their achievements because you want to support them. And I think that's something that we can continue doing. And I think, being, if somebody comes into my channel through a raid and I'm acquainted with them and what they do, like, I personally don't just hype them just to hype them, like, because it feels like the obligation to do. I always try and think of something personal about what they do with their channel.
Yes.
And let people know what that is. This person is exemplary at their interaction with the community and playing with their community. And then, this person, I know them through this other associate and like, this is what they do with their community. Like, if I ever can, I always want to champion and trumpet the success of that individual for why I'm proud of them or why I think they're special. And you can do that if they raid you. You can do that before you raid someone. You can say, like, hey, we're going to go check out this person, and if you know them and there's a reason why you're raiding them, let your chat know beforehand and just say, like, I love the way, I love their enthusiasm for gaming, and like, or I love their overlays and all the work they've put into it. Like, take note of that when we get over there. Those kinds of things. I think the more we can lift others up, it helps us. It helps normalize praise and what it means to praise ourselves. And I think right now, for a lot of people, it may not be normal for us to think well about ourselves. So if we can do that in other people and do that for other people, then maybe we can normalize it for us, and maybe it won't be quite so hard next time, when we have an accomplishment and we really want to, like, sing it from the rooftops. It will feel comfortable, because ultimately that should be the goal. You shouldn't feel sad or ashamed for your success.
Yeah. And the bottom line is, if your community wasn't getting value out of your content, if they weren't enjoying it and feeling the need to, if they were not getting value, then they wouldn't show that support. So if your community is showing you support, whether it's financially or otherwise, they wouldn't do it if they didn't think that was worthwhile. Right? That's what it comes down to. I'm not going to sub to a streamer unless I get value out of their content, unless I'm enjoying my time there, whether it's just to relax and chill in their stream, whether it's to learn something from them, whatever. If I'm not getting value, then I wouldn't necessarily want to show that support. So you have to, like, look at that from your point of view as well. Your community wouldn't support if they didn't have that reason to do so. And maybe if they're not, maybe if you're not getting sub bombs left and right, that doesn't mean you're not creating that value. But it's just Twitch is a crazy place. Sometimes it feels like you're walking through a minefield balancing plates, and you're trying to, you know, make content and keep a schedule and look after your own mental health, and but also like try not to like do anything against TOS, or like, it's so crazy, right? It's there's a lot of gray area on Twitch, but I think we're all doing great. And and comparing yourself to others, it leads you down a path that's not good, and just don't do it. Enjoy yourself, and success will come with time.
Yeah, everybody has their own value. Yeah. And by making those comparisons, you're just it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be harder to see your own value when you're always focused on, you know, the attributes of others. So
yeah, absolutely. Right. Well, I think on that note, we've went a little longer than I was expecting here. So shall we wrap up?
That's not what she said.
Nope.
All right. Grog, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitch at just_grog. I'm also on Twitter at gamer_grog. I'm pretty soon this week is going to be a little slight modification with me going back to work at the library, but in the near future, I'm going to be sticking to my regular schedule of actually I think 5 days a week, with including these co-streams with Lauren. So after podcast today, I'm going to go do an afternoon stream, do some Warzone, hopefully with some of these fools, and otherwise I'll be back on Tuesday.
Awesome. Kibbles, what about yourself?
Well, you can find me at The Mighty Kibbles on... Whoa, sorry, my brain stopped. Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. The Mighty Kibbles on Twitter. I'm actually going to be coming out with a new video soon.
Hey.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll be streaming in a little bit as well with some Warzone. Hopefully with some of these fools. And I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Awesome. Cool. And Cod, what about yourself?
Well, that guy called on everything. You know, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Pornhub. That's my social medias.
That's my risky click of the day.
Just reaction videos to your content, honestly. So no one like sees it on YouTube, you know, so you can strike me.
Okay.
Secret. Now, I mean, now it's out. But... Okay, so yeah. Now that I'm on holiday, I plan on streaming more. I don't know when though. Probably tomorrow.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm Condyfly. You can find me everywhere under Condyfly. Twitter has an extra Y. We're going to be doing more Valorant, probably some more Warzone, probably Destiny as well. I also have a new video coming out soon. I think we're going to drop the new video on Tuesday. We just had a Dark Souls video go live, and we have a Call of Duty video I think is going to probably drop on Tuesday. So that will be fun. Yeah, that's about it really. If you are listening on any of the various podcast platforms, do try and come and check out the live stream. It's a lot of fun. Twitch.tv/Zero Strategy Podcast every Sunday. Check out the Twitter as well at Zero Strategy Pod. And make sure and check our YouTube channel as well. We upload the podcasts and also some little bonus content as well. We've been saying for a long time that we need to do more other content on the channel other than podcasts. It is still in the works, but again, obviously we're all busy working, streaming, doing all these things. So we are going to try and get some more.
Stream from work. That's confirmed.
Yeah. We need to just find an evening to plan this and actually get some other stuff on the channel. But yes, thank you very, very much. Again, if you are tuning into live stream, you want to catch any of the old episodes, it is all on Spotify and YouTube. So make sure and check out there. We will be back next week. We originally were going to be having a guest. It looks like it's all rescheduling. So maybe we'll have a guest next week. Maybe not. We'll see. Who really knows at this point? But we'll do our best. If you are watching the live stream, we're going to go and drop a raid on someone. So please stick around for that. But yeah, other than that, we will see you next week.
Bye.
All right, take it easy, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.